Welcome back to the channel, guys. I am, as always, your host, Mr. Sean, and this is Chimera Miniatures' official YouTube channel. Today we have the long-promised video of my idea for the perfect Pokemon game, but first, let's get to the ads. I, of course, use this channel as a way to advertise for my eBay and Etsy pages where I sell all manners of collectibles as well as customized miniatures. There are still 3 days left in the voting to decide what the next miniature I make will be. Link to that video in the description. As of this recording, there is 1 vote for Undead and nothing else, so go to the video, make your voice heard. I've recently posted 4 new miniatures for sale. Let's take a look at them real quick. First up, we have this Catgirl Huntress. One of the questions asked on Reddit when I posted these there was, well, why the hell is she fighting with her tits out? And well, that would definitely be because if you're hunting humanoid prey in the jungle, what better way to distract them if they see you than giving them a little show? Lord knows it would probably be the end of me. Up next, we have this zombie cyborg Tin Man miniature. He was not originally meant to look like the Tin Man, but as I started assembling and then painting him, I was like, well, that kind of looks like the Tin Man, so let's just go with it. This next guy started out as just a generic cyborg miniature, but as I started painting him, I kind of got some Fallout vibes, so I decided to make him the Atomic Gimp. And this final piece, I dove into the bits box from some of my other projects and ended up painting what looked to be a Panther woman dressed like Peter Pan, so I decided to call her Petra Panther. All of these are currently for sale on both my eBay and Etsy pages, as well as a host of other miniatures and collectibles that you can find on both, links in the description. And so without further ado, let's get into this video. So I'm a Pokemon OG. I bought my first Game Boy, a Game Boy Color to be specific, just to play Pokemon Red and Blue. I played the first 3 generations, as well as the games on the Nintendo 64. I did end up taking a break between Ruby and Sapphire all the way to I did play X and Y, then Sun and Moon, and finally Sword and Shield, as well as I play Pokemon Go now. I've also played the current iteration of Pokemon Snap, as well as given a little bit of time to the online card game, as well as the League of Legends style Pokemon game that I didn't do much with that. I collected the physical merch as a kid, I collect it now. I even had my dad set up the VCR every day before I went to school so we could record the episodes of Pokemon that came on in the morning. I could watch them when I get home. Needless to say, like, I've been with Pokemon since its start in the US. One of the biggest complaints I see about the Pokemon series is that people like me who grew up with it, who are adults now, some of us 30s or older, the game hasn't grown with its audience. It's still very easy, if not easier. It's heavily marketed to kids with very little put in for the adult audience, and while I think this is fine, I do think that there should be an effort to market some Pokemon aspects to the original fan base, as most of us are still, at the very least, at least casually interested in the property. I've seen articles where people complain about the experience share feature and how that makes the game too easy, and the past couple of generations it can't be turned off, and that I get. I mean, I understand. I'm not a huge fan of it. At least I did think it made Sword and Shield very, very easy. However, I'm not really mad that they're making it easier to level up the Pokemon, though I do wish they might have like a scaling difficulty based on that, you know, kind of like how in games like Skyrim or Fallout, the enemy strength is directly based on your strength. I remember as early as Generation 2, you could replay against certain trainers. They would call you and go, hey, let's battle, it's been a minute, and you'd go, and yeah, their stuff would get stronger, but usually by the time they'd message you and you made your way back, their Pokemon were not anywhere near as strong as yours, so it was kind of just a moot point and a way to get a little bit extra coin. So, I mean, ultimately, I think a scaling difficulty system would be great in that effect, but that's, you know, the experience share is not my biggest qualm with the current gen. No, my biggest qualm with the series is that even though this series debuted in Japan in '96 and came to the States in '98, there is still no way to skip the tutorial. Now, I know that there are a few different abilities that you can add that they've added in games, you know, the Z Crystals or the Mega Evolutions or the Dynamax from Sword and Shield. I really did not like that one. But those could be introduced in the plot, but as far as, like, how you catch a Pokemon, how Pokeballs work, what Pokemon are, there are so many of us playing these games that know this, that have known this for decades. We need a way to skip it. I'm just so tired of every game being,
oh, hi there, children. I'm Professor Creepy Old Man. Are you a boy or a girl? Have you ever heard of a creature known as a Pokemon? I bet you have, 'cause we use them for damn near everything in this world. Ain't you got yourself a Pokemon? Every 10-year-old ought to have a Pokemon. Here, why don't you listen to me ramble for 10 more minutes and I'll give you one.
And then you have to do the obligatory rival battle with whatever Pokemon they pick, then you have to go on a fetch quest for the professor, then you have to come back, he gives you the Pokedex, then when you're on your way to another city, then someone else will be
Well, looky here, we got ourselves a Pokemon trainer, but it looks like they only got one Pokemon. Don't you know how to catch more Pokemon? Well, geez, I ain't doing nothing right now. Why don't I show you how to catch a Pokemon?
Like, where's press X to skip when you need it? So this train of thought leading into making this video led me to look at Pokemon mods people had made online to see if anybody else had kind of had this idea and had made something like this. Basically a Pokemon game for people who already know how to play Pokemon. And the closest I found was one called Pokemon Outlaw. And I wouldn't even say Pokemon Outlaw is close to what I'm looking for. Sure, it does completely bypass the tutorials with the terms no one gives a shit about you and they're not going to hold your effing hand. But the part that's off-putting is that whoever made this, it was like some middle schooler trying to be super edgy, and it's like, oh, you're from the slums, you're a bad dude, this world is full of violence and people who want to hurt you, and there's like constant references to sexual assault and rape and murder and just a lot of profanity, and it's like, okay, this is somebody who wanted to like, oh, make an adult Pokemon game, yeah, that means adult themes. Like, it feels like this game is made by that dude that just would try to make people uncomfortable by, you know, using language that just, it didn't match the situation, but, you know, would just be like, wow, what a cunt, in a situation where that phrase doesn't even apply just because he wanted to throw the word cunt out there. And I think that's where the miscommunication happens with a lot of these ideas that we want an adult Pokemon game. People hear the term adult and they think that automatically means we're making reference to a game that would be either like R or X rated, and that's not what I mean. We're not asking for,
Hey girl, I just defeated you in a Pokemon battle. You know what that means. That means I get to come inside your vagina and you don't get to use protection. Sucks to suck, bitch. Now bring that pussy over here.
Nobody here is asking for Pokemon Incel Fantasy Edition. No, what I'm asking for, what I think a lot of people are asking for, is a idea of a Pokemon game and a storyline and a character that we can identify with, that resonates with us, because we're not 10 years old anymore. So that got me thinking, like, what would the storyline be in a game where you play as an adult in the Pokemon universe? And so I started thinking, like, what shows resonate with people? What ones, like, they're still goofy, they're still fun, but there is, like, a darkness and a sadness to them that people in my generation and a little older can identify with. And honestly, I started thinking about, like, the show Cobra Kai, where, you know, a guy never quite grew up from his glory days. And that got me thinking about, like, the world of Pokemon itself. Like, why is the Pokemon champion always 10? Like, I know kids start their Pokemon journey at age 10, but why is it that someone who literally just got their first Pokemon like a month ago is now the Grand Crown Pokemon champion who has just defeated people who have, you know, from what we would, you know, assume when we first played these games, have spent their entire life training Pokemon? So this caused me to develop a fan theory, and I know, fan theories are like assholes. Everyone's got one and they all stink, but bear with me, don't leave the video just yet. What if, in this world where everyone relies so heavily on Pokemon that the Pokemon League, rather than being this thing to determine who the best Pokemon trainer in the land is, what if it takes the place of, say, like middle school or even parts of high school? You know, you're about 10 when you go into it, and by the time you graduate, then you're ready to move on to see, like, you know, what field, what occupation you want to go into. But first, you need that well-rounded education about Pokemon, what their types mean, what they're weak against, what they're strong against, how you can best utilize them in situations, and they would start kids at this at an age where they're actually capable of raising and taking care of a Pokemon, and also at the point where they're just old enough to have a little bit of autonomy. I know 10 is young for that, but there's also that theory that a great war happened and, you know, kids grow up fast now. Why not? And since, you know, everybody would know about the war, kids would have grown up talking about the war, playing soldier and all that, what better way to get kids interested in learning about Pokemon, how Pokemon work, than battling? In Pokemon Origins, the anime, it's shown that gym leaders, they use different Pokemon based on how many gym badges you already have. This is because gym leaders are more or less like your teachers, but instead of math, science, and English, you know, you got fire, leaf, and rock. Look at the world your character inhabits in these games. Pokemon healthcare is free. The items, you know, you get a nugget, it's worth 5,000 Pokedollars. Well, you go to the store, you spend your Pokedollars on stuff to either strengthen or heal your Pokemon. It's Pokedollars. You're literally getting like fun bucks. You're earning fun bucks from people to go and spend on your Pokemon training education. You know, it seems like every time you walk past anybody, they challenge you to a battle, but we don't see that just people are constantly battling in the anime and whatnot. That's because, you know, you're on your school trip, you've probably got some little badge or something that lets people know, oh, hey, this is a trainer, I'll battle him, give him some experience. Like, the world wants you to figure out how Pokemon works so that you can then grow up and join the workforce. Because in this world, not knowing how to properly utilize Pokemon would be akin to not knowing how to use the internet or a phone in this day and age. You just wouldn't get very far. I would even go so far as to say that this extends into things like Team Rocket. Like, maybe not so much like Team Aqua or Magma or any of the ones that are actually putting the world in, like, very real danger. But look at Team Rocket. Team Rocket was never really that big of a threat. They were always very generic in what they were doing. Like, we're Pokemon. We're Team Rocket. We want to steal Pokemon and use Pokemon for evil and do crime with Pokemon. Pokecrime. And in Red and Blue, you actually, like, dismantle this entire organization by, you know, oh, you go here and they're there and you stop them. You go here and they're there and you stop them. And you go to the Silphco and you defeat their boss, and then the president of the company gives you this rare one-of-a-kind prototype Master Ball, and you just go on your way. It's like, no, I don't care what you did. He's not going to hand over the most valuable thing his company has. It's something they literally make and only give away to the trainers for defeating Team Rocket, because it's all a setup. The government created Team Rocket to give the kids, like, a bad guy to fight. Don't believe me? Literally the last gym you go to, your last teacher, is the leader of Team Rocket, and afterward he's like, you've inspired me to no longer be evil, and to go back to being a Pokemon gym leader. It's like, yeah, no, you just turned this Mafia Don on the path to redemption. Like, you damn well better believe this is all just, you know, a show for the kids. So with this line of thinking, I'd say it'd be probably pretty average for a normal 10-year-old to start their Pokemon journey, and maybe be a Pokemon trainer up until the age of 13, when by that point, they'll have passed the Pokemon League. Maybe they aren't quite as gung-ho about it as the characters we play as in the games. Then once they've completed their, you know, Pokemon League training, that's when they go on to the next stage of their education, where they start getting more specialized training, whether they want to be a Pokemon breeder, a Pokemon photographer. Let's say they're just really fucking good at battling, then maybe they go into training to eventually take over a gym or even become an Elite Four. It's essentially the same thing as becoming a teacher. But, you know, basically the idea is that Pokemon, being a Pokemon battler, is mostly a thing for children. So how do we take this idea and then make a compelling narrative about someone who is now in their 30s living in this Pokemon world and still have a reason to be doing Pokemon battles? How do we make an adult Pokemon game? No, not that kind of game. So I like to call this game idea Pokemon Broken Dreams Edition. In Pokemon Broken Dreams Edition, you play as this guy. Let's name him Barth. Why? It kind of sounds like barf, and I find that funny. Now, Barth is a 35-year-old dude who still has not gotten over his dream to one day be the Pokemon League champion, even though he is a 35-year-old dude, and that's something that 12-year-olds typically compete in. He's essentially that guy that bullies little kids at the weekly Pokemon card tournament at your local comic store. Now, Barth, you know, having had plenty of time, he's not a bad Pokemon trainer, but he's not able to make a living, really, doing this, because that's not what it's intended to do. So Barth's not doing so hot, economically speaking. In fact, his wife has taken the kids, has moved back in with her parents, and Barth is just trying to get by day to day, all the while still, you know, trying to make his dream come true, because he really believes he can do it. So, you know, when you start this game, you just immediately get into the game. There's no need to be taught how to train Pokemon. You know how to train Pokemon. You're Barth. You're 35 years old. You've been doing this since you were 10. So, you know, you'll randomly be given a Pokemon at the start of the game. There'll be like a list of ones it could possibly be. You don't get to choose, because, like, let's be honest, you're not choosing your starter. You chose him years ago. This guy's your main man, your rotten soldier, your sweet cheese. He's the guy that's been with you through thick and thin. Your wife may have left you, but this guy never will. For the sake of this video, we'll say that his Pokemon is a Shuckle, because you don't fuckle with the Shuckle, alright? So Barth and Shuckle, you know, to start their day, you're walking around town, you're walking down the routes, but nobody's challenging you to a battle. You're walking right by them, and they're not doing jack shit, so you walk up to somebody, you click A button, you're like, hey, what's going on? Let's battle. And people are like,
you wanna battle? How fucking old are you?
Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I'm a Pokemon trainer, we do Pokemon battles. You make the eye contact, you gotta battle, that's how it works. Don't you know how Pokemon battling works?
Yeah, I know how Pokemon battling works, but that's for, like, children. You're, like, old enough to be my dad.
Look, I got stuff to do today. We gonna battle or are we not gonna battle? What's it gonna be?
So you get into, like, the first battle of the game, and it's, like, actually kind of easier than normally the first battle of the game is. You're like, alright, Barth has got some skills. So you, like, win the battle, but as opposed to, like, normal in-battle screens where it's like, you know, hey, congratulations, wow, you're really strong, it's a little more condescending.
Haha, looks like I won. Now that's what a real trainer looks like, you know what I'm saying?
Like, go get a job, dude. Whatever. Are weird and creepy and gross.
So a big chunk of this, the first part of this game, would be like a really big, like, Peter Pan syndrome, failure to launch, like, kind of learning kind of who Barth is. There'd probably be some flashbacks or some text with some dialogue with some characters about why he is the way that he is, why he hasn't been able to move on. Again, I don't have, the entire game script up in my head right now, but that would be like the first half of the game, is just Barth trying to be a trainer and people just kind of treating him a little weird because that's not what adults do in this world. And to help illustrate this, you'd have some encounters like, "Hey Barth, what's going on, man?"
Oh, hey Gary, what's going on?
"Oh, hey, not much, man, but just, rent's due."
Gary, I'm a little short this week. Alright, let's Pokemon battle for it.
Now, Barth, I can't let you pay for your rent with, like, a Pokemon battle. That's not really how it works, eh?
Hey man, don't be a dick because you're mad that I'm still living the dream and you decided to become a Pokemon landlord, okay?
Look, Barth, I'm not a Pokemon landlord. I'm just a regular landlord, eh? Not all jobs have Pokemon added to the front of it. I'm just a regular landlord, and I need your rent, because it's due. Landlord Gary wants the rent. Your options will be item, wallet. You don't have the cash, so your only option is run. And while the first half of this game will be, very much a Johnny Lawrence, guy stuck in the past, unable to move forward type misadventure game, eventually we'll see Barth start to grow and work towards a goal. Maybe he'll become a gym leader. Maybe he'll join the Elite Four, but like somehow he will make a living. He will forge a life for himself, doing what he loves to do. And I feel that, like, as adults, we could all identify with someone like that. We all had dreams that we had to more or less give up on as we got older. Otherwise this entire world would be full of nothing but ballerinas and firemen. But it's this ability to forge a life for yourself, living a dream, and finding a way to adapt that dream, even if it's so that you can still live it, even if it's not exactly how you pictured it when you were 12. I feel like that's something that my generation, the OG Pokemon players, could really enjoy and get behind. So to just boil it down to a few points, what I want in my perfect Pokemon game, this is what it is. Number 1, let me skip the tutorial. I do not want to keep doing this. 2, let me be someone who is not a 10-year-old. I can only be a 10-year-old trying to be the Pokemon League champion so many times before it gets redundant. And 3, give me a story with a slightly more mature, darker tone that I can identify with. Something that appeals to me, the 30-year-old player, not the kid. Like, I love the nostalgia of playing these games is great, but I feel like there should be options that are specifically not tailored to the new children players of this game. Give us OG Poke players some love, Nintendo, alright? I know you can go back into your roots and get something a little less kid-friendly. No, not that. So that is my idea for my perfect Pokemon game. Thank you so much for listening. I'm sorry this video took as long as it did to get out to you. I did not like my first draft of it, so it was back to the drawing board and life got in the way. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the links to my eBay and my Etsy, as well as the link to the previous video where you can cast your vote for what kind of miniature I'll make next. Voting ends on the 11th. I just want to thank all of you for joining me on Chimera Miniatures' official YouTube channel. I am, as always, your host, Mr. Sean. I hope you alpha great day and an even beta tomorrow. Bye-bye!